Hi, welcome back to the podcast. I am your host, Naomi, and this is Mosaic in Progress. On September 24th, Marcellus Williams was murdered with the full support of the justice system, despite all evidence pointing to his innocence. Despite huge public outcry and petitions, despite the prosecuting attorney who originally helped convict him filing motions for a dismissal of the charges, despite a special committee having found him innocent, he was murdered. And I just really can't move on and be quiet about it. And what I have arrived at is that I can't do anything to bring back Marcellus Williams. No one can, obviously. But what I can do is continue as much as I am able to use my voice to cry out against such injustices. I encourage everyone who is listening to go to innocenceproject.org and see who else is on death row who should not be. Because living in the land of the free and the home of the brave is such a great thing if, with our wonderful justice system and the checks and balances and things like that. Robert Robertson is scheduled to be executed on October 17th, and please go to innocenceproject.org and read about his story. Robert Robertson is an autistic man who was suspected of killing his chronically ill daughter because he did not show normal emotions when he brought her into the hospital. And so they thought anyone so cold and callous and non-reactive must indeed be a cold-blooded murderer. He was not evaluated and found to be autistic until very recently. Motions have been filed to overturn the ruling or to re-examine the case. They have not done so. And so, let's see, it's October 6th. In 11 days, he is scheduled to be executed based on what amounts to circumstantial evidence because they just thought he acted guilty, essentially. That one kind of hits me pretty hard because as someone who is also autistic, the amount of times that I deal with bad motives being attributed to me because I don't react like normal people do is astounding and exhausting, and it's never been so dire as for me to receive a murder conviction because of it. And I never would have thought that it would, but apparently that's not off the table. That is not what today's episode is about. But as long as I have a platform, I'm going to use it to speak out against injustice. So that's your intro. Please go to innocenceproject.org, sign the petition, call the governor, do what you can, and I will as well. Robert Robertson has 11 days. So, moving on to today's topic, pumpkin spice latte. What in the hell could I possibly talk about pumpkin spice lattes for? when it comes to the usual subject of my podcast. We are really mean to each other in this society. We have become so scared of everything, of our way of lives being taken away, of people taking resources away from us, taking jobs away from us, taking potential mates away from us, food away from us, money away from us, whatever. We are in a chronic state of feeling unsafe in our society. And it's not just those of us who have experienced some kind of severe trauma, it's everyone. It's a systemic societal baseline that we are all terrified and don't feel safe. And the way that we deal with that is to lash out at anyone we view as a threat, and we view anyone who is other as a threat. And other just depends on where you sit in your beliefs, in your philosophies, in your tastes, in your convictions, and anyone who's different from you is a threat to you. I love pumpkin spice lattes. Years ago, I didn't really drink coffee that much. I didn't really like coffee. But Sonic, the drive-thru, used to have this thing called a Java chiller, and it was basically a coffee milkshake. They would mix vanilla ice cream with a flavored syrup. I think they had mocha and caramel, and a shot or two of espresso, depending on what size you got. And I was like, that sounds delicious. I think I would like to start my day with a coffee milkshake, because I was a college student and I was stupid. And I was also tired, so I would start every day going to college with a Java chiller from Sonic. I transferred to a different college, and my little sister, who's not quite 2 years younger than me, was also going to that college. So we commuted together, and she was a coffee drinker, and she really liked Starbucks. And there was a Starbucks nearby the college that we were going to, and she convinced me to go to Starbucks instead of Sonic. She was like, they have stuff you would like too. They did not. And so she ordered whatever it was she got, a cinnamon dolce latte, something like that. And the barista was like, and what are you gonna have, ma'am? And I was like, I don't know. Looking at the menu and all these names I've never seen before, I was like, I don't know. And he's like, what do you like to drink? And I told him about the Java chiller. He said, all right, I think you would really like a caramel frappuccino. I'm gonna make it for you. If you don't like it, I'll make you something else. We'll throw it away. And he was really nice. And because he was so nice, I was like, okay, I'll come back here, because he was nice to me and he cared about me enjoying my experience. The caramel frappuccino was okay. I didn't love it, but it was kind of what I stuck to for a while until the pumpkin spice latte came out. And I was like, I like pumpkin pie. Is it kind of like a pumpkin pie? And they were like, it's kind of like if a pumpkin pie was a coffee. And I was like, I'll try it. And that was when I fell in love with Starbucks. I am obsessed with pumpkin spice lattes and pumpkin spice everything. I just spent a really long time talking about Starbucks and pumpkin spice lattes to get to the point. I have seen so much on social media, and it happens every year. It gets close to fall, or since Starbucks started releasing the pumpkin spice latte in August, it starts about August. And everyone just mocks mercilessly pumpkin spice lattes and pumpkin spice flavor. I mean, really unnecessarily. Like, if you don't like it, just don't drink it. Or eat it, whatever it is. But you see these constant things just berating pumpkin spice. It's better tacos, pumpkin spice. It's better tequila, pumpkin spice. Who, pumpkin spice who? Apple cider's better. And it's just, and I want to say, sure, it's all in good fun, but it's not. It's not. People think, oh, it's all in good fun. And who are you making fun of? You're just aimlessly directing this disdain at a flavor that you don't have to participate in. And it's I want you to pause for a moment and consider what is going on with all of the pumpkin spice hate. It is someone saying, here is a thing that I don't like. I don't have to partake of it. I don't have to buy it. I don't have to eat it. It just shows up seasonally, and I have to see it out there available for purchase. And I have so much disdain for this flavor that I am going to mock everyone who likes it. I'm going to tell you how stupid it is. I've even seen a thing that says how awful it is, and it ends with, and by the way, pumpkin spice causes constipation. Which, first of all, no, it doesn't. Second of all, even if it did, that was definitely not a health PSA that you were releasing. And number 3, why do you feel it necessary to put that out there? To just spew vitriol over a flavor? There's a point to this. I'm getting to it. Because it's not just pumpkin spice. It happens over Halloween decorations and decor. It happens over Christmas decorations and songs and things like that. And I am not a big fan of Christmas. And the fact that Christmas music starts getting played in October and Christmas decorations show up before Halloween has even happened does get on my nerves. But it's more the commercialism and the just shoving it in my face than the holiday itself. I certainly have a lot of problems with the evangelical overtones of Christmas and how that gets shoved in my face, but that's a completely different subject. We can't just let people have things that they enjoy anymore. And we have this weird need to force everyone to be smaller for our comfort. Whether it's Christmas or Halloween or pumpkin spice, we can't let people be who they are and enjoy what they enjoy if it's not something that we also participate in. One of my very good friends, my best friend from nursing school, does not like pumpkin spice. Doesn't like it, hates it, thinks it's disgusting, can't stand it. She never says anything negative about it. And even if I happen to send her something that's related to pumpkin spice, she's like, I'm glad you get to enjoy it. I'm glad you enjoy it. Because she recognizes I'm not trying to force her to drink it. I'm not going to hold her down and pour it down her throat or anything like that. And also that it doesn't serve her to spend energy on hating something when she can just not drink it. That it doesn't have to be that serious. But we've forgotten how to have any kind of civil discourse with each other. We've forgotten how to let people just be. Because we are so chronically afraid that everything feels like a threat to us. We're on high alert all the time. Oh my God, pumpkin spice is out again. What if I can't get my regular coffee because everything becomes pumpkin spice? And that's very extreme. But that's the mentality that we have. We can't even make up with people, we can't see someone lash out and have an argument with someone and then be civil to them afterwards. It's just, well, they're done. I'm not going to talk to them anymore. They showed me their true colors, and there is a lot to be said for maintaining boundaries and seeing when someone is an unsafe person. But there's also a lot to be said for recognizing that we are all human. We all make mistakes. We all say and do things that we wish we hadn't. And allowing someone a chance to be who they truly are and be their highest self rather than the scared version of them. And we can't allow people to heal and grow if we keep them stuck in their unhealed self. I had a few experiences this weekend that taught me a lot about that, with a couple of people who have spouted some absolutely vile vitriol to the point that I was not sure that I was safe around them. Now, they didn't threaten me or my family or anyone I love directly, or give exactly an indication that they would incite violence against them or me. But it was to the point that I was not sure a relationship with these people could continue. And I debated how to handle it, because these are not people who I can just avoid without completely changing my entire life and social circle. And I saw both of them this weekend, and I realized that the whole thing that was missing from the entire situation was love. Which generally is the thing that's missing from every bad situation. And so I chose, rather than to call them out on it or force them to give account or lay down the law or whatever, I chose to interact with them as someone who I love. Someone who I see as a fellow human, a person who is connected to me, as we are all connected. We are all part of one source. And their reaction was mild shock, and that was followed by a kind of softening, a relaxing, a letting the guard down. And I saw them both open back up into the people who I knew that they could be. And we don't do this enough with people. We don't see people as people. We don't invite them to be human again, to let their guard down, to be vulnerable, and to be okay, to show them that they are okay to be vulnerable. And it's a difficult thing to do, to hold space for someone to be vulnerable when you also don't feel safe. And this is why I talk so much about doing shadow work, because we have to heal ourselves. It's no one else's responsibility. We have to heal ourselves. We have to find that safety within ourselves, or it doesn't go out anywhere else into the world. If you are safe within yourself, then you can hold that space to let someone else know that they can be safe too. And then they can do it for someone else, and they can do it for someone else, and it creates a ripple effect, but it has to start with you. You can't expect everyone else to do the work so that you can feel safe. You have to do your own work so you feel safe with yourself. and then create the space for everyone else to feel safe. We are scared society. I look around us and I see nothing but scared little girls and little boys who have emotionally never grown up and spend their whole lives fighting to prove to everyone around them that they really are a grown up. And they do it in the way that little kids do it. Look at me, I got this flashy new car. Look at me, I got this flashy new jacket. Look at me, I can hold my breath for 2 minutes. Look at me, I can stand on my head. Look at me, I can beat this guy up. Look at me, my dress is prettier than hers. Look at me, my hair is prettier than hers. Look at me, I can push her down and everybody laughs at her. We are scared little kids on a playground. And nobody wants to admit it. And so we make fun of her dress. We make fun of her decorations. We make fun of her drink. You drink that? Ew, that's gross. Why would you drink that? That's so disgusting. I don't want to be your friend anymore. That's so gross. I mean, this is like elementary school bullshit. But we're adults and we do it. And we do it behind a keyboard because we're safe there. We don't have to wait and see people's reactions. We don't see the people who get uncomfortable, the people whose eyes turn down and look away. In our heads, everybody's like, yeah, pointing and laughing. We're mean to each other. We're mean to each other because we're mean to ourselves. But it is a toxic environment we have created and perpetuated. And it won't stop until we admit what it is and what we are. Our whole world is a playground of scared little kids. And so I'd like to challenge you over the coming weeks. When you see something you don't like that doesn't affect you, I challenge you to just move on. Curb your instinct, that kind of knee-jerk reaction to say something negative about it. And if you really, really want to work on it, curb your instinct to think something negative about it. Instead of thinking gross, think, I'm glad that's available for the people who like it. And if you really want to take it a step further, say, and I am glad that I have available to me the things that I like. And then I want you to think of 3 things that you like that are available to you that you can get. Practice that over the next few weeks. When you see something you don't like that doesn't affect you in any way, just move on. And change your thinking to gratitude rather than hate and disdain. And if you think, well, I already do that, or that's not a problem for me, or whatever, okay, sure. And then I challenge you this. when you see someone who is reacting like a scared little kid on the playground, instead of looking at them and their actions and thinking, gross, ew, think of them like a scared little kid on the playground. And however feels best to you, show that person some love in that moment. And if there's nothing that you think that you can do or say to them in that moment, then just change how you think of them. Consciously change your thoughts and how you react to it instead of thinking, ugh, that's so gross. Why would you say that? Why do you need to say that? Think, oh, they're scared. And find the compassion for them. Find the empathy for them. Even if it seems silly to you that making fun of pumpkin spice lattes means that someone's scared, do it anyway. Humor me. And when you find yourself acting like a scared little kid on the playground, whatever that may look like for you, whether it's making fun of something you don't like, whether it's lashing out at coworkers, whether it's lashing out at your loved ones, yelling in traffic because you're going to be late, or you think you're going to be late, or you feel like someone's in your way, show yourself compassion like a scared little kid on the playground. The only way we change our society is by changing ourselves. And so I invite you to start with yourself and inviting in more compassion, more empathy, more understanding, and allow that to spread to your circle of influence. And see how it changes your world. This is a much shorter episode than I usually create. I am going to be very honest with you and say that my depression is really, really bad again. In just a little over a month, I will mark the 7-year anniversary since I was raped. And there is a part of me that is very excited to reach that 7-year mark because I know that every 7 years our cells are completely turned over and every cell in my body will have been replaced with a new one, and I will finally have a body that he didn't touch. But I also cannot quit remembering the investigator's words to me that it usually takes 2 to 3 women reporting before guys like this ever see the inside of a courtroom. But don't worry. If he does it again and they report and it's within 7 years, then your case can be used as evidence to convict him. Five different strangers heard my story that night. A stranger photographed me naked and swabbed my body and stored the evidence somewhere with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation for later use. They decided to take him to court. I didn't want to do any of that, and I did it only to stop him from ever hurting anyone else ever again. And it's very hard to feel like it was not completely in vain and that I tortured myself for nothing. Please remember that the next time you wonder why women don't report. And on that note, to remind everyone again of our horrifically injustice system, please go to innocenceproject.org and sign the petition and call the governor, Robert Robertson. Has less than 2 weeks left to live. And if there is anything that can be done, we can be the ones to do it. Please join me next week on the podcast as we both continue to work on our mosaic in progress.